there is a manhunt underway for the gunman responsible for assassinating political commentator Charlie Kirk while he spoke in front of a crowd yesterday at Utah Valley University. The 31-year-old was shot once in the neck 20 minutes after taking the stage for his American comeback tour. It was the first event for the fall for him. Officials say that the shooter fired from a nearby rooftop. President Trump announcing his death on Truth Social yesterday afternoon, saying no one understood or had the heart of the youth in the U.S. better than Charlie. The president speaking to the nation from the Oval Office last night.
This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
The president ordering flags at the White House flown at half-staff in honor of Kirk. FBI Director Kash Patel saying the agency had a person of interest in custody, but that person was released after an interrogation. They're going to keep working with local law enforcement. Now, local police officials and Utah's governor speaking about what went down yesterday. Watch.
This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual.
But I want to make it crystal clear right now to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
A huge outpouring of support for Kirk as hundreds of thousands around the world pay their respects. Every single living president has offered their condolences, including Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Joe Biden. The New York Yankees also holding a moment of silence in Kirk's honor. President Trump is set to attend tonight's game to commemorate 24 years since the 9/11 attacks. I want to bring in Fox News contributor and former FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker. Nicole, there's an active shooter on the loose right now. What are the officials in that press conference from the FBI? What does an operation from the FBI of this magnitude look like, and what are they looking for?
So the FBI and all law enforcement, they definitely have their work cut out for them, Cheryl. This is a very difficult situation, but I have no doubt that with all hands on deck, this person will be brought into custody. What happens is the FBI in Salt Lake City, they are, working hand in hand with the Utah Department of Public Safety. The FBI is offering tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence assistance to the local law enforcement right now. I can tell you that I spoke directly to individuals who are in law enforcement right now who said immediately it was all hands on deck. Email went out, hey, we need everyone's assistance, everyone, this is what we're going to do. We need help, everyone, report now. And that is what they are doing. And Cheryl, I think, when you don't catch the suspect initially, then it does turn into a more deeper investigative stance that they have to take. This individual allegedly was on the roof. We've seen the videos. I do believe that that is correct, on top of the Losi building at Utah Valley University from around 200 yards from where Charlie Kirk was when he was just disgustingly and evilly taken from this world. That individual, who knows, that individual could have immediately shed the clothing that they were in, jumped off that roof, blended in with the crowd. Remember, there were thousands of people scurrying and running, and I've seen this happen in other mass shooting events. For me, it was the Parkland school shooting when the shooter literally left the scene and blended in with the crowd. So that is in Orem, Utah. It is near Provo, Utah, near an airport. As a law enforcement officer, my mind goes to what was their escape plan? Clearly, this individual has a very strong knowledge of the campus. You don't just get onto the roof of a university without having planned this out. I would be looking into who was at that university, who were the employees. I would be looking at every single employee who had access, who would have known how to get up onto that roof. But again, At this point, because it is now a manhunt, the most important thing, in my opinion, for the investigators is human intelligence. Cheryl, somebody knows this killer. Somebody knows them, and it's so important that if you see something, say something. If you've heard of anything, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. I know that the FBI is also asking for all digital evidence, all photos from the scene. Even if you think that what you have is not really substantial, call it in and let law enforcement take the pieces of the puzzle and hopefully put them together. But yes, this is going to be a very difficult task. But let's not forget how powerful the sensitive, law enforcement, we have very sophisticated investigative techniques. I'm not going to discuss them on air, but those are things that they are going to be working on right now, looking into any potential threats that he had, scrubbing all social media for all threats that might have been directed at Charlie Kirk, doing a search of all Google searches, any internet sites, things that they can piece together that link to that event itself, Charlie Kirk, that building. It sounds complex, but that is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to dig in deep right now and do some full investigative work on finding this killer.
Nicole, so, okay, you mentioned a couple of key things I want to follow up with you. There was about 3,000 people there. It was an open area. I want you to listen to what one of the witnesses told us about what they saw.
The second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that, but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved.
That's one witness, that's his opinion, but the broader picture here is that those were young people with phones, and there is a lot of video. You mentioned the social media videos that many of us have seen, unfortunately, of what happened, but can investigators pull together the video? I've also seen video of a dark figure in black running across the roof. I mean, can't all of that be pieced together? Witness accounts, and then, of course, the video to find out who this is, where they went. Are they still hiding in the neighborhood?
Right, so I have no doubt about that, and that is a very important question, Cheryl. They are actually going to be pulling even that person that asked the question about, the transgender and the shootings prior to. I guarantee you, law enforcement's interviewing that person. They reviews. We don't know if this was just one person, if it was the shooter, if the shooter was conspiring with other people and they all played a different role to distract, whatever the things might have been. But trust me, law enforcement has their work cut out. Right now, it is so important that Director Kash Patel is providing every single resource, which I know that he is, but that's exactly what they're going to do. And I can tell you, I know people that were there. I have a niece that attends Brigham Young University nearby. She wanted to actually attend the event, and my sister and brother-in-law said, you know what, we don't think it's a good idea. There's too many crazies out there. But what I can say is that they are going to be going back and interviewing those that were there. Right now, the eyewitnesses that I've spoken to, they haven't even had a chance to speak to law enforcement, okay? They haven't even been interviewed. And so a lot of people that were witnesses will be interviewed. They're going to piece together the video surveillance that Utah Valley University has, and that's exactly what we do in law enforcement. We find the most recent moment from when the tragedy occurred, and then we go backtrack with video surveillance back into, okay, this person got onto the roof. How did they get through the hallways? Did they come through a vehicle? What was the vehicle? They're going to backtrack in that way. Maybe they didn't take a car there. Maybe they took an Uber. We do not know, but it is going to be complex. And I think it's important to know also, Utah, it is a very difficult terrain to manage. It is very mountainous. It's very spacious. There's lots of places for someone to hide out. Like I said, there's a lot of, transportation hubs near Utah Valley University. I'm telling you right now, there's someone within the sound of my voice over the last 2 days, someone knows this killer. Whether it's on Fox, whatever news network it is, this is the power of the media, Cheryl. And it is going to be through the media, whether it's through, television, social media, somebody knows them. If you know of this person, you must speak up and you must report it to law enforcement. Nicole,
Charlie had talked about getting death threats. He had a small security team with him that, if you look at the video, they're standing in front of him, and that's who attended to him. But I did hear some of the reporters in the press conference yesterday ask the local officials about security at the venue. And the reporters were kind of intimating in their questions that there was not enough security at an event like this. Do college campuses need to rethink how much security they have at any political events? I mean, and to your point about Utah, you know, Jason Chaffetz was on yesterday, and he said he was in shock about what he saw, but he also said nothing happens here. This is a safe community. It's a safe part of the nation. He said, I never thought that I would be witnessing something like this in Orem, Utah, in my former district.
And that's right. I know Jason Chaffetz. And again, I have family members from Utah. They live there. And I will tell you, it's almost chilling, Cheryl. I have a family text string from August 29th, just 10 days ago, where my family is going back and forth. And my brother was even talking about how they don't have metal detectors at their high school football games. And I have family in Texas, and they're like, what? How do you not have that? And my brother said, oh, it's Utah County. Nothing ever happens here. I chimed in and said, you better watch yourself, because you may have a very major violent incident occur in your state. No one is safe. And I hate to say this because it's such a horrible way to look at life, but we cannot walk around thinking it's not going to happen here. You must hope for the best, but assume the worst and always be prepared. There were 6 security officers at that event, or police officers at the event from the campus at Utah Valley University, along with Charlie Kirk's own private security. But frankly, if there had been 100 officers in that crowd, how are they going to stop the person on the roof?
Yeah.
So this incident, it comes down even more to lock down that campus. And again, key is quality video surveillance. There are systems out there that are capable of detecting movement, motion. If there's motion on a roof that shouldn't be there, immediately they should get notified. Those are the types of things people need to put the money into the security systems, because it could save people's lives.
Real quick, Nicole, before you go, you heard that witness say about, you know, the possibility of multiple people. Do you think that multiple people could be involved in this?
You know, as an investigator, you don't rule out anything until you've solved the investigation. You can rule out nothing. And so I don't want to, you know, jump to conclusions, but I definitely would not rule anything out. Because again, this was very well planned out. This person didn't just walk onto that roof yesterday and say, I'm going to go kill Charlie Kirk. This was very methodical, very well thought out. It was one shot, Cheryl, one from around 200 yards away. This is a sharpshooter, likely with a rifle. They can leave no stone unturned. I can't close off any conclusions until the investigation is solved. And frankly, it's going to take time. But the key, all hands on deck.
Yeah, no, and this shot was so precise and devastating. Nicole Parker, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your expertise, and I know that you knew Charlie as well. Thank you for being here this morning.